a few things. You can hear my fan because my room was just painted a light purple. Beautiful. My window's open because fuck the paint. And I am sweating a lot. But I just got back from the Singapore Masterball League. How well did I do? I ain't gonna say. But I will go into the matches. I have a little notebook about each turn, and I tried to get everyone's general sets down. I have no idea if I got them right at all. Well, let's get into the first one. Oh, and side note, even if I like just get eliminated immediately, I was still gonna play all of my matches. Spoiler, I guess I didn't get eliminated immediately. So we'll put these side by side. You can see my matchup here. It's against Miraidon, Lunala, or Saluna. Now, I have a lot of experience against this, so I feel quite good. I think I know what to do against this. So based on my notes, it was Iron Hands Ice Rider lead, and in the back I brought Kyogre Basket Legion, my usual Miraidon core. This is what I always bring against Miraidon. As for the opponent, it was Miraidon Incineroar with Lunala and Ursaluna in the back. So this was the turn one. What did I do? So what happened was, it was an Electro Drift and a U-turn into my Ice Rider. How do I know this was the exact move? Because my tiny brain clicked a low kick into Miraidon, and I believe I tried to set Trick Room. No, I think I went for Leech Seed into Miraidon. So what should happen here is that the U-turn is supposed to KO. That was supposed to kill. That was supposed to kill. Okay, let's not do best of 3. Let's just do best of 1. Give me a bit. Sorry. I guess that tells me that was a roll to KO, which means I got unlucky. Or maybe the Incineroar had attack EVs and I'm stupid. I did not Terra Fairy. Okay, whatever. We'll just ignore it. We'll just ignore it for now. Lunala comes in. I get a lot less damage than that, normally. That also would have done way less. They definitely have bulk on their Miraidon. They were very slow, I assume. So what I did next was I sent in Baskia Legion. And what I did was I tried to, what did I try and do? Maybe it, Oh yeah, it was the Miraidon was Terra. So I tried to Wave Crash it, and then my Iron Hands here swapped to Kyogre because obviously they want to outspeed Miraidon. They switched to Incineroar, which I knew was coming. I knew that was coming. Shout out to me. This was not Terra Psychic. This was very obviously Terra Fairy. Alright, Basket Legion gets the KO. Trick Room goes up, and I think you can see how this ends. Headlong Rush and Moongeist Beam. I'm pretty sure the Headlong Rush was a roll. I clicked Lash Effects on Lunala just in case. Yeah, that was not a guaranteed kill. Oh wait, you weren't burnt yet. You were supposed to be burnt. I protected first, whatever. It was protect, and then Ursaluna smoked my guys. Okay, so we have an idea of how that went. That was game 1, obviously. Game 2. Challenge. I'm like, Incineroar is leading, huh? What do I do about that? Alright, so because of that, it was my Incineroar counterplay, Kyogre, obviously. So I had the Iron Hands Kyogre, and in the back, I bring, that's Basket Legion. I bring Basket Legion and Ice Rider. They bring the same. Because they don't need to change anything. This is a very simple, easy lead. So, what happens here is, I don't know what they click. We're just gonna click this because what happens here is that we fake out each other. But I do reveal my Terra already. So next turn, they go for Dazzling Gleam without Terra, which definitely surprised me. And then you turn into Kyogre. As for my Iron Hands, I go for Low Kick into Miraidon and I Origin Pulse. Now I did hit my Origin Pulses. Let's see if we hit it here. That Deep Gleam actually did that amount of damage. Oh, this Incineroar was supposed to be faster. It was supposed to be max speed Incineroar. Okay, does that change anything? Miraidon switches into Incineroar. Remember that this instance is supposed to be full HP and Lunala's the chipped one. It says I KO Basket Legion. When did I bring in Basket Legion? Let me think about this. When did I bring Basket Legion out? Maybe a Moongeist beamed Iron Hit? I don't know what happened. Maybe I skipped a turn or something. But I know I did lose this. Okay, it was something like this. Oh, Leech Seed lands on Lunala. I think I made a double switch at some point. Oh, no, wait, I missed a turn where Lunala's Dazzling Gleam KOs Iron Hands and Kyogre. Then Basket Legion and Ice Rider, then that's what happened. That might be a little bit hazy or weird to understand. I'm not going to give you guys a replay of it. Just listen to what I said or something. One of these is not set to... One of these is not set. Okay. Time for round 2. So I'm 0-1. But next up I see the username. Not username, just the actual name. Eugene Tan. I know this name. I know that name because they've been playing since 2011. They are an ancient VGCer. I was against an absolute veteran. I was terrified because the matchup is tricky. Not hard, but very, very tricky. So this is going to be a long one. So strap your seatbelt. What did the YouTuber say? So my lead, I'm leading Amoonguss Kyogre. And in the back, what the hell do I have in the back? I changed like every game. I know I had Calyrex. It was Calyrex Iron Jugulus, which makes sense. And then here they bring Urshifu Calyrex lead. And then in the back it was, I believe it was actually Rillaboom Amoonguss. Yeah, it was Rillaboom Amoonguss. So this was a weird lead for me. I was very confident at first because I thought, ooh, Terra Water, easy. But they actually choose to lock in a close combat, which is really bad. So close combat comes in here. And they go for Glacial Lance. As for me, what I do is I Terra Water Spore into Ice Rider, and I go for a Water Spout. So this close combat should do about 50%. It definitely did less than that. And I definitely did more than that. And I definitely was on more HP than that. Okay, it doesn't actually matter because Urshifu KOs Kyogre this turn. And what do I do? Oh, I Spore the Urshifu. I guess it doesn't matter. And then, you're not supposed to wake up yet? Oh, wait, I just realized sleep turns might get a little messy. Sleep turns might make this messy. Amoonguss Spores Urshifu. Turn tree. I send in my Calyrex, and I decide to take a risk and leave Urshifu up a little bit. And what I do is, okay, close combat, and we'll just go for Glacial Lance. What I do is I Sport a Calyrex just in case of a switch, which I figure was possible. It shouldn't wake up this turn. Come on, don't wake up, please. You weren't supposed to wake up yet. Whatever. That Spore back into it might have actually messed up my sleep turns. Okay, so Urshifu stays asleep again. High horsepower lands into Amoonguss. Yeah, I was supposed to wake up here. We'll just pretend that Glacial Lance was the high horsepower. It did not do much damage. What do I click? I think I clicked something like this. And then this turn, what happened was, I go for Pollen Puff into Urshifu and Glacial Lance, and that KOs it. That KO'd it in the battle, because what happened was, oh, it still killed. And also that Calyrex was, I believe, was on more HP. So their other Amoonguss comes in, and now things get annoying, but I knew this would happen. They Spore my Calyrex, and this Calyrex, pretend it's awake, it switches into Rillaboom. I Spore the Calyrex, and Glacial Lance raw. Why didn't I protect? Look, I didn't protect for good reason. So now, pretend my Amoonguss is significantly lower than this, but it was because I took a high horsepower, not a Glacial Lance. I protect the Amoonguss, predicting Grassy Glide, and a Glacial Lance. What they do is they Pollen Puff me and Grassy Glide. I get to read right. Generally, I didn't expect Pollen Puff, but it's okay. Next, I switch Amoonguss into Iron Jugulus. And Amoonguss attacks my Calyrex. My Calyrex is supposed to sleep for 3 turns here. I got a full 3-turn sleep. And they would hammer Jugulus. They did not go for any weird shenanigan. So please don't wake up, Calyrex. What did you go for again? You attacked Calyrex. Okay, I ended up waking up in the battle, but I was still asleep there. So let's just picture this scenario. Let's just say I was still asleep, and Rillaboom and Amoonguss were still on the field, just sitting there, existing. And Iron Jugulus takes the Wood Hammer, and Amoonguss doesn't do much. The next turn, Amoonguss still has access to Terra Dark. Did I set it to? I set it to water. It was supposed to be dark. Okay, it's a Terra Dark Amoonguss. So next turn, I predict the Terra Dark. I don't predict the Terra... It was Terra Fire. I don't predict the Terra Fire on Rillaboom. But I think it might have been Terra Grass, but I'm pretty sure it was Fire. I taunt Amoonguss, and I Glacial Lance. And that was a game-winning play. It was still somewhat possible for them to win, I think. So that was a pretty strong game 1. I'm very happy to do that against Eugene 10. Game 2. I decide to change up my game plan a little bit. I predict them to bring Incineroar, because Incineroar is great against the Pokemon that I brought. So what I do is I lead with Amoonguss and Calyrex, which sounds counterintuitive to what I just said, but it's supposed to do well into the lead, and then in the back, I bring Basculin Legion and Iron Jugulus. Yes, no Kyogre. I choose to leave Kyogre behind here. I just don't think it's very good. As for them, they lead with... Did they lead the same? I swear they led something different. Nope, they led the same, apparently. Wait, why did I say the same? No, they led Terrapagos. That's not the same. I just thought it was for some reason. And then in the back is Incineroar and Rillaboom. So, what happens here? Turn 1, Terrapagos goes for a Protect, and Urshifu U-turns... I believe it U-turned Calyrex. I didn't write. I Spore the Terrapagos. No. I Pollen Puff Calyrex because I'm cool. And I Leech Seed Terrapagos. Terrapagos goes for Protect. Protect. U-turn comes out. That did about that much damage. Incineroar is extremely free here. And I knew they would bring it this game. And it blocks my Leech Seed, but I heal back up with Pollen Puff. Next turn, I switch Calyrex into Jugulus, and Amoonguss goes for... Amoonguss goes for Spore, and I switch to Jugulus. Incineroar fakes the Spore out. And what did they go for? Calm Mind? I'm pretty sure they go for Calm Mind. I believe this is the long battle. So next turn, I go for... Okay, so... I Spore the Terrapagos, and I taunt the Incineroar so it doesn't Parting Shot. As for Incin goes for Knock Up into Amoonguss, and it protects. So this is looking a little bit annoying. I'm not getting progress done. I'm playing very passive right now. Not much is getting done. It's annoying. So next turn, So what happens next turn? I switch Amoonguss into Basculin Legion on what I predict to be a Flare Blitz. And with you, I Snarl. I need to start getting this Terrapagos weakened. Incineroar. This is what happens. This was a guaranteed kill for them. It makes sense. They just ignore my Jugulus completely. So I Snarl Terrapagos. Weaken it. Starstorm comes out. And Knockoff comes out. My Basculin Legion is supposed to live this. It lived on about that amount. About. Okay. So now, obviously, they don't want Incineroar to die. So what happens is I Wave Crash the Incineroar and I Air Slash the Incineroar, predicting a switch. As for Incineroar, it does switch to Rillaboom, and Terrapagos goes for a... What the fuck does Terrapagos go for? Wait, what the fuck did you go for? I think it was a Starstorm into Jugulus. I cannot remember, man. No, it was a Calm Mind. So Basculin Legion is supposed to live this. I think I should have clicked Aqua Jet just to simulate living. Oh, I lived. Nice. So yeah, I get the air slash off. Air slash did a little bit less than that. No, actually we did about that much. So what happens here is Rillaboom KOs Basculete with a Grassy Glide. And Terrapagos Calm Minds. I think Terrapagos actually protected last turn. So this time we'll go for Earth Power into Jugulis just to simulate nothing happening. It was supposed to be a +1. It was supposed to be a +1 +2. Basculegion goes for a Wave Crash into Terrapagos and a Snarl. There we go. We simulate nothing happening. Who did I send in? I sent in Ice Rider. So Rillaboom switches to Incineroar and Terrapagos Calm Minds, I believe. No. Terrapagos attacks into Jugulis. And my Jugulis, I believe, does pretty much nothing here. So what I did was I Leechied the Rillaboom. No, I Leechied Terrapagos. I think I Air Slash the Rillaboom slot. Incineroar comes in. I don't do too much damage to it. I did a little bit less than that. Okay, well, okay, bro. It was supposed to do about 40%. Okay, so what happens this turn is I switch Jugulis into a Mungus. And Ice Rider goes for Trick Room because I want to get into a great position. Because if they try and attack my Ice Rider or stuff, or they try to go for Fake Out into Jugulis, that would be beautiful. So what happens is they Flare Blitz and Terra Starstorm. And Among Us just dies. From here, you can imagine that I lost. I can't win with these two Pokemon left. Apparently it says I KO'd Rillaboom with Glacial Lance this turn. Did Rillaboom switch to Incineroar? Maybe it did. And Terrapagos Terrastalizes. Brother, you Terrastalize. Whatever. I go for Glacial Lance to KO. And Iron Jugulis goes for the Air Slash that does nothing, but I actually lived here. Nice. So what happens here is Incineroar fakes out, and Terrapagos goes for Terra Starstorm. I go for Glacial Lance and Snarl. Snarl there would have been nice, but sadly it doesn't come to fruition. I switch into Urshifu on another Terra Starstorm, and I kind of catch it, but yeah, whatever. At this point, you know I lose. Okay, this Terrapagos was actually +2. I don't know. I think I got the sequencing a little bit wrong, but at some point I got some Calm Minds. Maybe I got some stuff messed up. Alright, whatever. So now it's a game 3. Boo-wee, I'm scaredy. What is happening? Can I click rematch, please? Man. Yawn, you're probably yawning right now. Okay, so this time I go for the Iron Jugulis lead. If it's Urshifu Terrapagos again, that's great. Because Jugulis is a great lead into that, or at least it should be. And then in the back, I bring a Mungus. Actually, I think I was predicting something else. I don't remember. And the last one actually chose to bring Iron Hands. The reason I'm choosing Iron Hands is because the Pokemon they brought last game were Terrapagos, Urshifu, Incineroar, and Rillaboom. No Calyrex Ice Rider, no Amoonguss. The Amoonguss means that Iron Hands is phenomenal. As for them, they bring Terrapagos, Urshifu, and I have no idea what else they brought. Incineroar. What was your last Rillaboom? They brought the same. So, Iron Jugulis, looking great right now, right? Well, I'm scared of a Terra Water Surging Strikes into Iron Jugulis. So I actually choose to switch Iron Jugulis into a Amoonguss, and I get Trick Room up. Now this is the play I wanted to make last time when I went for Flare Blitz, when they went for Flare Blitz and KO'd my Amoonguss. Terrapagos goes for... The fuck does Terrapagos do? I think it Calm Minds? I don't know what Terrapagos did. I think it actually U-turned the Jugulis slot and took a Rocky Helmet. I remember it taking that, but I could be completely wrong. So now it goes for Protect, and I go for a Leech Seed and Spore into it. That hurts. I was really expecting a Fake Out, but this makes a lot of sense. And they go for Flip into Amoonguss. Now Amoonguss lived this. Amoonguss should have lived this. And here, I do live this. Yeah, and it took about that much recoil. Okay, so what happens this turn? I accidentally clicked Leech Seed on Terrapagos. I wanted to click it on Incineroar, I believe. Why? It's because I know what's gonna happen this turn. I switch into Iron Hands, and I accidentally get to play wrong. I knew that Rillaboom was coming out, and sadly, I Leech Seeded that. I wanted to Glacial Lance. I misclicked. And Knockoff goes into Amoonguss, which means Iron Hands loses his Assault Vest. So now, what I do is, I go for Glacial Lance, and Iron Hand switches out right back into Amoonguss, as they fake out my Iron Hands, and Incineroar goes for Knockoff into Calyrex. You might be wondering why I'm not Terastallizing. I don't want to take super effective Terra Starstorm, because Terra Starstorm hits Terrastallize Pokemon super effectively. Yep, I did about that much with Glacial Lance. Knockoff comes out, that did about that much, maybe a tiny bit less. Alright, so this turn, one turn to Trick Room left. I go for a Glacial Lance and a Spore into the Rillaboom. And Rillaboom goes for Grassy Glide, and they Flare Blitz my Calyrex for the KO. Now that might seem bad, I'm okay with it. Because at this point, Iron Hands looks really good. The biggest threat to Iron Hands was Urshifu. I mean, what was Rillaboom, kind of. I bring in Iron Hands, and they bring Terrapagos. I believe it was Terrapagos. Alright, so I don't know what Incineroar clicks, because what I did here was I faked it out. I faked out the Incineroar, and they blocked my Spore. Amoonguss was a lot healthier than this, I remember. I think. So, Iron Hands here. I go for Wild Charge into Incineroar. This is because I know it's going to Parting Shot and switch into Urshifu, and I want to catch it. And Amoonguss switches into Iron Jugulis. This is a really good position, but I can't lose to Terrapagos. Terrapagos goes for Calm Mind, and Urshifu comes in. It lived the Wild Charge normally. I guess I got a low roll. It lived on like no HP. And what happened this turn? My opponent disconnected. It was Urshifu and Terrapagos staring down my Pokemon, and then all of a sudden they disconnected. Now who would have won? I guess we'll play it out, but Urshifu's supposed to be alive, and Urshifu would have gotten good damage. I think I had a chance. I think it came down to good play. I think it came down to who could play better. And now it was time for the sudden death. Now, do you guys think I got bailed? No. No. Okay, so because of the sudden death, I just want to kill everything. So I lead Kyogre, Amoonguss. And the reason I'm leading Amoonguss with Kyogre is because I am not letting Urshifu get KOs. And I also want to stifle Terrapagos. As for my other guys, I brought Basculegion. I think I brought Ice Rider last. As for them, they go for Urshifu Terrapagos again. And then they bring Rillaboom and Incineroar, their usual. So, Terrapagos goes for Protect, and Urshifu U-turns into Rillaboom. As I go for a Water Spout and a Spore. Nothing crazy here. Boom. I get good damage on Rillaboom. I was okay with this. Now the next turn, Terrapagos. Okay, so Rillaboom fakes out Amoonguss, and Terrapagos terrors immediately to negate my damage. But I'm going for one kill. The way sudden death works in this is you just need one kill. However, it's by turn, so it's not whoever gets the first kill. It's whoever gets the first kill by the end of the turn. So let's say both of us get a kill on one turn. It doesn't count. It needs to be like tree to form on or something. I hope that was clear. Wait, I didn't click Spore here, did I? Oh, I faked it out. Yeah, I did click Spore. The Rillaboom was a little bit healthier than this, but whatever. So next, Rillaboom goes into Urshifu, and Terrapagos goes for, what did it go for? Was it just another Starstorm? I don't remember what it went for. I think it was a Protect, because it was scared of Spore. And what I do here is, I wrote down, I stupidly go Basculegion. Why did I go Basculegion? I'm trying to remember, and I think it was to catch a Starstorm, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, Basculegion will live, but still. So this is like an awkward spot. My Rain is down, and my Basculegion is out naked. Also, that Water Spout I feel like did less, but who cares? So what I do here is, to keep Basculegion alive, I protect it. I found... Right here is when I'm trying to think, what's my game-winning play? And I quickly spot one. I find a way to win the game very easily from here. Very easily, or at least should be. I switch to Amoonguss. No, wrong protect. I protect Basculegion. This is so that next turn I can bring Kyogre back out and guarantee that both of my Pokemon survive. What they do is they close combat Amoonguss, which I figured was going to happen, and Terra Starstorm. Amoonguss survives, guaranteed. It actually did pretty much that damage, exactly. I go back into Kyogre, and all I need Kyogre to do, I just needed to live a Terra Starstorm. That's all I asked for. And both of my Pokemon survive, I win the sudden death. And the game goes to me. So 1-1, boom. Against a very ancient player. Now next up, we are facing the first of many... Miraidon Ice, right? There's only 2. Hey, maybe I'll play more tomorrow. Shh. Okay, next up. So, this one is... Oh my god, this is another long one. This isn't... Okay, it's not super duper long. But this is my round 3. Now, I saw this person talking a lot. They seem pretty nice. So, let's see. It was Cali Ice Iron Hands, Kyogre Basculegion. Because what else do I lead against this kind of team? Now, this is a pretty normal Miraidon team, but the thing that throws me the fuck off is the Annihilate. The Annihilate confuses me so much. I was not sure what to do. I kept staring at it. I knew it was a massive threat, and I didn't know how to respond. They lead with Miraidon Iron Hands. What did they bring in the back? They bring Grimmsnarl Calyrex. So no Annihilate, but I don't know that quite yet. So their Iron Hands is supposed to be faster than my Iron Hands, but I don't know that. So they Volt Switch my Calyrex. It does pretty much 50% exactly, and they fake out my Iron Hands. My Calyrex goes for leeching into Miraidon, and I go for fake out into... I think I fake out the Miraidon, but I'm just gonna fake out Iron Hands to simulate. All right, that's how it went out. The Volt Switch comes out. Perfect. That's pretty much what happened. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to miss the Grimmsnarl here. I'm supposed to miss. That affects the game a lot. So we're going to redo this. But instead, this time I click... Oh, what can I even click? Maybe I just switch them on into Calyrex. Yeah, that should work. That should work. So we're just going to lead with Basculegion and pretend I'm leading with Ice Rider. So, what happens here is Volt Switch into Calyrex and fake out into Iron Hands. We're just gonna do this. Sure, a little bit more damage, but whatever. Also, this time I get the fake out. Whatever. So, that was the turn 1. It wasn't the best, but because I missed Leech Seed. But I can do something. So wait, what happens this turn? I switch into Basculegion, and you Terra Fairy, and I Leech Seed. I believe I Leech Seed Iron Hands. Now Grimmsnarl goes for Reflect, and Iron Hands goes for Low Kick into my Ice Rider, because it wants to KO it. It knows this will KO, but I know that too. So I Terrasilize, I save myself from dying right there. That was pretty much perfect damage right there. That was pretty much exactly what happened. So, I switch Basculegion back into Iron Hands to Beta Wild Charge. And then I protect. I also successfully Beta Thunder Wave. So this was like pretty much perfect turn for me. So now Iron Hands are getting low and they don't like that. So what happens is they Spirit Break my Iron Hand and switch to Ice Rider. What do I do here? Ooh, I make a bad play here. I fake out their Iron Hands, and what do? I Leechy the Grimmsnarl. So this Spirit Break actually crits in the actual battle and brings my Iron Hands very low. We'll just ignore that. So this turn, Grimmsnarl switches into Iron Hands, and they go for Glacial Lance. And my Iron Hands goes for, I switch into Kyogre because it's a very free switch. Look at Kyogre here. And my Ice Rider does Leech Seed into their Ice Rider. So their Iron Hands comes out, my Kyogre comes out, Leech Seed comes out, Glacial Lance. It did a little bit more to my Ice Rider than that. It did quite a bit more actually. Okay, so their Calyrex, they don't want to let me have the Leech Seed, so Fake Out hits my Calyrex, and they switch into Miraidon. Now, I knew this exact sequence of events was going to happen, but I didn't really have a way to go around it besides switching to Iron Hands, which in hindsight I could have done, and I knew it, but I still go for this. So, now Miraidon has to choose. Who do you want to KO? It can only KO one of my Pokemon. Now, I could try and make a Giga Predict and Protect one of the guys, which would put me so far ahead. But I don't. And it chooses to KO my Ice Rider here. Yep, Ice Rider goes down, and I get rid of Kyogre, and I get rid of Iron Hands. Now, they bring in their Ice Rider, which I didn't expect. I expected Grimmsnarl to come out here. And what I do is I send in Iron Hands. So now this is a weird spot. But I predict Miraidon to switch into Grimmsnarl, which it does. But the Ice Rider protects, and I go for a meat double attack into the Ice Rider here. Grimmsnarl did survive barely, which is perfect. So they go for Light Screen here, and they go for Glacial Lance and Light Screen. And remember the Iron Hand was crit, so it's actually significantly lower here. What do I click? I go for Water Spout to KO Grimmsnarl and get damage off, and I switch into Bastion Legion. Now Miraidon comes out. Wait, did they go for that? I don't remember. Is that what happened? Wait, that's not what happened. Wait. Huh? Oh, Grimmsnarl was supposed to live there. Okay, I'm just gonna say the end game. Let's go back to the previous turn. Oh, I got crit. Oh, I crit the Water Spout. Never mind. I crit it in game. I didn't actually crit it. So Water Spout. So Grimmsnarl actually survived 2 Water Spouts here. So it's supposed to be alive. It's supposed to be Calyrex Grimmsnarl versus Kyogre Basket Legion this turn. Now I can Aqua Jet the Grimmsnarl, but I predicted to go into Miraidon. It doesn't. I go for Last Respect into Ice Rider, and I KO both Pokemon, and they Thunder Wave my Basket Legion. Now it's an endgame of Miraidon versus Kyogre. They still have Terraslization, so if I Ice Beam and they Terra and KO Basket Legion first, I lose. Because of this, I decided to go for Aqua Jet plus Ice Beam, which would account for Terra Fairy. What happens here is Basket Legion gets fully paralyzed twice. If I didn't get paralyzed, I won. Because 2 Aqua Jets would have KO'd even a non-Terra Miraidon, I'm very sure of it. And it just KOs both of my Pokemon. At least at the time. I don't fully remember. It's been it's been a long day, man. So, I'm down 1 game. Bad. So, game 2. I promise these one will be shorter. So, I decided to change it up. I decide that their team is so bad against Kyogre, kind of. Yeah, their team really hates Kyogre. So, I decided to lean into Kyogre. And the Pokemon I bring in the back are the same. I cannot bring a Mungus or Iron Jugulus ever to this. Those are horrible Pokemon in this matchup. What they do is they do the same thing. Miraidon Iron Hands, Ice Rider Grimmsnarl. So, what do I do this time? They Volt Switch Kyogre and Fake Out. I wrote down that Fake Out did about 20. That Volt Switch did 23% to Kyogre. Alright, Fake Out the. I think I Fake Out Miraidon, but we're just gonna pretend I didn't Fake Out Miraidon. Yep, they get to Fake Out on me. So this should do 23%. That was quite a bit more, but whatever. I do 60% to Grimmsnarl and 38% to Iron Hands. Let's see this. That's not far away. That really isn't far away. I'm really on point. Reflect. And Low Kick comes out. And what I do is I go for a Water Spout and I Low Kick their Iron Hands. I believe it was that, yeah, they went for Reflect. Wait. Oh, the Iron Hand Speed Tie. Oh, okay. What happened was that their Iron Hands was supposed to KO my Kyogre, and then I KO their Iron Hands. Okay, let's try and get a redo. I would just tell you the rest of the endgame, but there's still a decent amount of battle left, so I'll be back. Bro, what is this crit? We should be back. I go for Low Kick, and I go for Water Spout. I KO Grimmsnarl. I bring Iron Hands to about that HP. They KO Kyogre, and I KO Iron Hands. I'm at a 2 Pokemon advantage, but I use my Terra. So here, why? Can you guys hear that outside? I'm sorry. I bring a Calyrex Ice. It took me a long time to decide whether I bring Ice Rider or Basculegion in, because Rain's up. I want to make use of the Rain. But I realized, who the fuck needs Rain against Ice Rider? Because I have access to Trick Room. I can Trick Room my Basculegion anyways. Basculegion is not super scared of Ice Rider, but I need to keep its HP high. So it's a bit of a pressurized endgame. So, oh, this is this one might get a little bit messy. My Calyrex Ice. So, let's see this. I go for Low Kick in the mirror right on, and what does my Ice Rider click here? I think I click Leech Seed. I don't remember. Okay, that's actually decently close to what happened. So I go for Low Kick for about 50%, a bit less, but it won't show here because I did not make it bulky. So I'm gonna go for Drain Punch here because Miraidon's supposed to live. It's supposed to live 2 Low Kicks, but I don't want to risk KOing it. And I protect you. What happens is I protect on an Electro Drift and they Leech Seed my Iron Hands. Yep, this is kind of what happened. Kind of. Generally close. So, I switch Iron Hands into Basculegion. You're not getting Electro Drifted. Wait, is that what happened? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, okay. Wait. Okay, wait. So, apparently they set Trick Room. I don't remember them doing that. So this is, I guess, what happened. So here, okay, so I went, okay, they did set Trick Room. I don't remember it, but I guess they did. Last Respects, and I fake out the Calyrex. They go for Glacial Lance, and they go for Terra. Oh, this is supposed to be Terra Water. Oops. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Because from here, I always win. So I win game 2. Great. I'm going to change the Water Calyrex move really quickly. And now game 3. Let's see this. So what I'm thinking here is, alright, Kyogre is really showing its stride. That was a really good Kyogre set. And I bring the same Pokemon. I cannot bring my other guys. They lead the same. But they bring Annihilate this time. And the other Pokemon was... What was the other Pokemon? It was Calyrex. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, nothing suspicious here. But I make a horrendous play. I expect them to do something a little bit differently here. I expect them to, like, I don't know, maybe Iron Hands maybe they're gonna do something else, but I think the pressure got to me. What I did here was absolutely horrible. I fake out the Iron Hands, and I Terra Grass Water Spout. What they do is they go for Volt Switch into Iron Hands and fake Kyogre out. This is a horrendous turn in my opinion. Look at that. My fake out does nothing and they get so much progress. And they bring in and then the big Annihilate is in. So, I have no clue what to do. However, I have an idea of what it's going to do. I expect Coaching to come out. I don't expect Final Gambit. I ignore Final Gambit. I predict Coaching. So, what I do here... So, what does Iron Hands go for? I do not remember what... I think Iron Hands just KOs Kyogre, right? I think it KOs Kyogre. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I KO's Kyogre. So I go for Wild Turn into Iron Hands, predicting a Terra Water. Even though I know my opponent just refuses to Terastallize for some reason, they just never Terastallize. I get my Water Spout off. I think I did a little bit more to Hands there. Yeah, I definitely did more damage to Iron Hands there. But now that I'm in a great position, I was scared when I saw the Annihilate and boosted Iron Hands, but I realized this is a great spot right now. Oh, it's not Terra Fighting, by the way, ignore that, but it doesn't matter, they're not Terra Fighting this guy. So Annihilate is just here doing nothing. So they go for Coaching, and because they can't really do anything here, they're vulnerable, they switch. Now this is a pretty bad switch for them, because they go for Last Respects. And I KO Calyrex on the switch, and Annihilate does nothing. I think they couldn't really do much there. They were definitely pressured. I think they bring in Mirror right on here. So what they do, from here, this is a very game-winning position. But they switch Annihilate into Iron Hands. And I do... Okay, they Volt Switch the Basket Legion. I go for Low Kick into Miraidon, and I Last Respects it as well. They do a pretty good pivot chain and bring Annihilate in as I do nothing with Low Kick. But I'm pretty sure they can't win from here. So here apparently they double attacked Iron Hands. Was Iron Hands like way healthier or something? What did my Iron Hands tank that it wasn't supposed to tank? My Iron Hands was like 80% here or something. I do not remember what it accidentally took here. It only took a Volt Switch. When did my hands get so low? Huh? I don't understand. Pretend Iron Hands is really healthy right now. Just pretend that, okay? Wait, oh, I'm looking at their Iron Hands. My Iron Hands is just fine. I'm an idiot. I am so dumb. Okay, so I go for... What did I go for here? I don't know what my hands did here. Oh, my hands did nothing. Wanna know why? My hands did nothing because this is what they click. So that was a bad turn, obviously. But Calyrex easily 3v1s here. Calyrex is pretty much guaranteed to win now. They go for Low Kick and Close Combat. I go for a Low Kick and a Trick Room. So from here they click Terra Water and they actually hard switch into Miraidon, and I get really scared because I'm like, oh, boost a Low Kick, it's gonna KO me. But because I know their Iron Hands is super fast, so I have a little bit of confidence. So in the actual battle, they click Terra Water, but they were a bit lower than this and they were very much in Glacial Lance range. Wait, what? No, that's not what happens. Yeah, this is... Okay, I didn't take a Low Kick. Now that I see that Low Kick does that much, though, I definitely survived it. And then I win. I win this, and now I go 2-1. That was a pretty good game. I had one really bad turn, but it was because I could afford it. Now, this is the one I'm sure people are excited for. Zachary Kaliputla. So they're running a... So, looking at the team, what are my thoughts on the matchup? Okay, another Annihilate. I get annoyed, but I think their team is giga weak to Kyogre, and I really hope to exploit that. But it is an Assault Vest Miraidon, which is good against Kyogre. Are you serious? Is this... It's not... Okay, it's not that long. So, game 4, baby. Round 4. So, I lead with Iron Hand and Calyrex. This is supposed to be my Miraidon lead, but it's pretty good here as well. Oh, this is a Miraidon team, duh. Yeah, it's my Miraidon lead. And then, well, guess who I'm bringing in the back, guys? And they bring... I expect an Ogerpon lead, but these guys never lead with Ogerpon for some reason. They lead Calyrex, Ice, and Miraidon, and Ogerpon and... It was not Urshifu. It was not Urshifu. It wasn't Urshifu. Boom. Oh yeah, it's a single striker Urshifu, which definitely changed things for me. So turn 1, Miraidon. So I decide to make a call. Miraidon knows that my Iron Hands can fake it out. Miraidon is very threatened. I have 2 physical attackers. The Incineroar is a super obvious switch. So, oh my god, there's misses in this one. Let me see. Uh, I'm trying to remember what their Calyrex clicked. I think it leech seeded my Calyrex. And then I go for a Leech Seed miss, but we're just gonna take that as Glacial Land since I do 0 anyways, and I get a low kick off. The Calyrex is a little bit healthier than this because my low kick obviously. So next turn, I predict them to fake out my Iron Hands here, even though Calyrex, because they can do a few things. So let me see. They Leech Seed my Iron Hands, and Incineroar. So what it does is that it clicks Will-O-Wisp here and misses my Calyrex. We're just gonna count that as fake out into my Kyogre slot, cause yeah, I'm switching to Kyogre this turn, and I get the Leech Seed off that I wanted. It went something like this. My Kyogre's a little bit healthier. So now I'm threatening massive damage on something. They can't go into Miraidon because of Calyrex Ice Rider. This is the power of Kyogre Calyrex Ice. So what do? They decide to go for... Oh, they Leech Seed my Calyrex this turn. Whatever. I don't know what they did the first turn. So they Terra Bug. I forced them to Terra Bug successfully. What does my Ice Rider do? I do about 5% with Glacial Lance, expecting just in case of Miraidon switching in, and Kyogre goes for Water Spout. So my Water Spout does a bunch. Yes, this also means they did not click Fake Out because they didn't have to. The Will-O-Wisp was the priority. They Leech Seed there, successfully land. Imagine I wasn't Leech Seeded or something. So this turn I go for a double switch. Now who's switching to who? I'm trying to remember. I think it was this and this. Incineroar switches into Miraidon because now my main guy is not a threat. I switch into Miraidon and... Oh no, they protect Calyrex and switch Incineroar to Miraidon because they can afford to do that. So what do here? I doubled the Miraidon slot with Fake Out and Wave Crash because I'm not too scared of the Ice Rider here. And the Ice Rider protects. This is a beautiful turn for me. We're just going to click a random move. It doesn't matter. So you can see there, beautiful damage, massive hit, and I KO with another Wave Crash. It's so tempting. I forget the Terra Water to secure the KO. Terra Water would have won me the game for sure. Miraidon goes for Volt Switch to KO Basculegion. Iron Hands here. I think he just does like tiny damage to Incineroar. We're just gonna put that as a fake out. Because Incineroar is supposed to be a little bit higher than this. It was like 20. And Basculegion goes for a Wave Crash. And Miraidon's supposed to live this, and nice. That's exactly what happened in the battle. Except for the fake out. I Drain Punched the Incineroar and took Rocky Helmet damage. And Incineroar survives. Okay, so, they Volt Switch into Ice Rider. And what I do is I bring in Kyogre here because duh, look at the Pokemon on the field. They go for Fake Out into Kyogre and Glacial Lance. My Iron Hand goes for... Oh, it switches. And then my Kyogre, does my Kyogre protect? It does not. And I take the Glacial Lance. Sad. They decide to sacrifice Incineroar at this point, and they protect this. I go for, I don't remember what I click, man. Whatever. And then Ogerpon comes in, and from here you can imagine that I lose. I switch Kyogre to Iron Hands here to take the Ivy Cudgel, and Ice Rider goes for Trick Room. And that's what I'm aiming for to try and win this. They go for Glacial Lance. I switch into Iron Hands to take that big hit. And now it's looking difficult, but maybe winnable. I just need to abuse these Trick Room turns. I'm really hoping to win this. But I go for Fake Out and Leech Seed. Now you might say, you stupid idiot, why would you do that? I was fully expecting Spiky Shield. I was fully expecting a Spiky Shield. What does their Calyrex do? I have no memory of what Calyrex does this turn. I think it was a Leechy trade. I could be wrong. Oh. Okay, so my Calyrex actually survived the Ivy Cudgel, but next turn doesn't matter. I can't KO enough Pokemon, they just win. Yep, I lose from here. GG. Alright, so Zachary gets game 1. Wait, was that game 1? That was game 1. So time for game 2. Alright, baby. Wait. Oh no, I did win that. I'm stupid. I did win that. Wait, I won that with Glacial Land Spam. Yeah. Cause I Terrasilize Iron Hand to live. Okay. Oh my god. This is probably confusing all of you. This is not a good video. Look, it's hard to make sets come back. It's hard to review set. Oh fuck this shit. How does Wolfie do this, man? So, once again, we have to face Annihilate in game 3. Game 2. This is game 2. I'm an idiot. I have no idea what they bring, but spoiler alert, this battle is 2 turns long. Kyogre, Iron Hands, and then in the back is Ice Rider, Legion. So, what happens here? I go for final get. I decide not to fake out the Miraidon at all. Why is this Electro Ball? Whatever, this is gonna KO my Kyogre because that's what it does this turn. And I go for Wild Charge to Annihilate for some goddamn reason. The Electro Ball did not KO. Okay, pretend Kyogre died. It was supposed to be Calyrex in here. Imagine Miraidon plus Ogerpon. They double into my Calyrex because I don't protect, and boom, I lose. That was game 2. Game 2 was horrible. But I won game 1. I know, crazy. And now it's game 3, and I'm thinking, okay, I can absolutely win this. Just don't throw against Annihilate. My entire brain is thinking about Annihilate. I think of all kinds of leads. I was heavily considering bringing Amoonguss to the Miraidon matchup. I very heavily looked at Amoonguss. But I decided, okay, we're going to leave Amoonguss behind. Let's bring this. Let's trustworthy stuff. I can always go Bastion Legion if I need to hard predict the final gambit. They lead are Shifu and Incineroar. Now in the back is Calyrex and Annihilate. 0 Miraidon whatsoever, which is crazy. Incineroar fakes on my Iron Hands, and Urshifu Wicked Blows. I forget the Terra because I was stressed out seeing this lead. Yup, fake on into hands. I take a Wicked Blow. This does like 73%. Okay, good enough. good enough. So, what do I do this turn? I have a few options. I can still do this. I have to Terra Fairy now, though. And I go for Leech It into Incineroar. And I Drain Punch the Urshifu, even though I'm sure it's going to go for Protect. And what do? Well, they go for Protect, and they Will-O-Wisp into my Iron Hands. Did you really have to miss? Come on. Okay, there we go. So my Iron Hands is heavily crippled, and did I just miss Leech Seed? I'm pretty sure I hit that Leech Seed. I know I missed a second Leech Seed at some point. Maybe this was the Leech Seed that I missed. Whatever. We'll just play it out, whatever. And I brought Miraidon. Never mind, we're gonna replay this. This Urshifu just does more and more every game for some reason. Urshifu switches into Annihilate, predicting me. And Incineroar Parting Shots Iron Hands, which I predict. I knew it was gonna go for that. And they go into Annihilate. What do? I Drain Punch the Annihilate. And I don't get much. Did I miss Will-O-Wisp again? We're gonna ignore this. Whatever. They bring in some Parting Shots into Urshifu, right? So what I do this turn is I predict the Detect and Coaching. And what I do with that is I switch Iron Hands into Kyogre and Calyrex. I cannot read my handwriting. I go for Leech Seed into the Annihilate slot, and Iron Hand switches to Kyogre. What they do is they detect. Yeah, they detect. Okay, I know what I wrote now. This is what happened. This is the turn, and I missed Leech Seed again. Bro, I did not miss Leech Seed in battle. I'm pretty sure I definitely hit that Leech Seed, and I was much healthier than this. But whatever. Okay, so my Calyrex is heavily intimidated right now. I want to switch to the Basculegion. They're not gonna attack into Calyrex like that. And then Kyogre, I can switch to Iron Hands. I know it's gonna go for close combat, not Wicked Blow, but I still feel like I have to do this. They go for close combat into that, and they go for Fake Out into my Iron Hands. But I was the last on the Trick Room. I get my Basculegion in a beautiful spot, and then I Fake Out the Urshifu. Now, do you guys know what Urshifu's item in this battle is? Do you guys know? Because apparently I didn't. I was so tunneled on this guy being Focus Sash. But yeah, I did live. Basculegion did survive, and I did get rid of Incineroar and died of Recoil. It did a little bit less, but doesn't matter, obviously. So I'm like, ooh, I need a Basculegion alive. Uh-oh, this is a bit scary. This is spooky. This is getting really scary. I get Calyrex in, and they get Annihilate in. So, what did they do here? Oh, no, they bring in Miraidon. Oh. Okay, Annihilate is Miraidon. Pretend it's Miraidon. Actually, everyone can just protect and pretend. Because I don't think anyone protects the next turn. There is no Miraidon. No, it was Ice Rider. I'm dumb. Wait, was it Miraidon? It was Miraidon. Wait, it was Miraidon. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Okay. Pretend this is the end game. It was Miraidon Urshifu versus Calyrex Iron Hands with Ape alive in the back and Kyogre alive for me. They go for. They switch Urshifu into Annihilate, and then Electro Drift Calyrex. Calyrex was much healthier than this because I hit the Leech Seeds, I live Electro Drift, I set up Trick Room, and from there, Miraidon switches to Urshifu, but I just go for Glacial Lance. I low kick Annihilate, but Annihilate does not KO with Final Gambit, and then I win the battle because Trick Room is up, and I Glacial Lance everything. Now, 3-1, crazy man. Now you need 4-1 to make day 2, but 3-2 has a good chance. Has a very small chance of your very good resistance. And I fought some great trainers, so I'm sure that even if I go 3-2, I'm fine. Then they do a check on my switch and my team, and my Amoonguss' stats are apparently wrong. So my Amoonguss had a sassy nature in game when I submitted relaxed. Damn. So this means that Amoonguss is disqualified from the tournament. I cannot use Amoonguss for the rest of the league. Now, this is probably okay. It's bad, but I can live with it. What's really bad is that my next game has an auto game loss. Not lose completely, but I lose game 1. I have to win 2 games now. And it's against CSR Zama. Now, I didn't take any notes for this matchup. I didn't take any notes because I was so hardwired on focused. But I'll just tell you what happened. First off, they led with CSR and Amoonguss against Iron Jugulis. I didn't lead Iron Jugulis, but if I did lead Iron Jugulis, I might have just won immediately. And then there was a position where it was Rillaboom, Amoonguss versus Ice Rider, and my Iron Hands. I predict them to go for U-turn and protect. And then I decide to just Leech Seed and low kick the Zamazenta. They don't protect the Amoonguss. Low kick KO Zamazenta, so Glacial was free, and I definitely just won the game from there. Somebody didn't see that. Somebody missed it. So that's deeply unfortunate. I lost the second game to a matchup that I was very, very comfortable in, and that sucks. But I still made day 2 because my resistance was crazy. So day 2 tomorrow, woohoo, baby! I'm okay if I don't qualify for Worlds. I just want to do well, and I did, and I felt like I did very well today. I got 14th out of 60 players, or 64. I don't know how many there actually were. So that was absolutely beautiful. I'm very happy about today. I feel like I did great. My team is so good. I'm glad I put in so much work into this team. This team has been cooking. I'm also the fact that I played 2 Annihilate is crazy. Annihilate of all Pokemon.